Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pulls Pods. After two home games in a row, both ending in disappointing draws, to say the least. However, Pulls are still unbeaten this season, one of only three teams in the league to be so at this point. The other being York, who've only played four games, as opposed to the majority of teams having played six or seven. And our opponents on Saturday, Forest Green, but we will come on to them later on. And first, we will talk about the two home games. And it's Daniel joining me tonight. Hello, Daniel. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I am not too bad. Better with wins, but at least we haven't been beaten, I suppose, which, is where we will start two draws from two. That's three draws in a row now.
Yeah.
The first of which was a very credible draw against Southend away, but the two home games, we fancied ourselves. We thought that it would be not an easy game because, there are no easy games in football, especially at this level. But it did feel like an opportunity missed to get all 3 points.
It did. I think the Boreham Wood game on Saturday, I thought they were probably the best side we've played, certainly at home this season. I thought they passed it about quite well. If be it all, I didn't think they were very threatening, really. We had a couple of chances, but the red cards killed us. I think with 11 men, we might nick it 1-0. But yeah, the red cards killed us. And to be honest, it was a very credible point. Um, in the face of adversity, and there'll be some out there who'll assume we were playing against 12 men.
Well, I mean, the evidence points that way, doesn't it? It's not
Yeah.
one, we're not people to say corruption, etc., etc. Because at the end of the day, if you criticize a referee for being corrupt, the whole game falls apart. So it's not
Mm.
worth it really. But the sheer incompetence of what we saw on Saturday, just, I mean, generally, how on earth? To be fair, that red card decision was probably the only thing he did get right.
Mm.
In fairness, I think you can argue about, how soft it was, etc. But, looking at it, as soon as he went down, I thought red card straight away because there was no real reason for him to go down because he was through on goal. You can
Yeah,
argue that Harvey Cartwright might have got there first, but I think, other than that,
there's no one on the cover, is there? So by the letter, it's a red card. I think if he's in the penalty box and it's a penalty, I think the double jeopardy law comes into play there, doesn't it? So he wouldn't have been sent off.
I think the double jeopardy does come into play, but I think there is also the sort of addendum where if he's not going for the ball, the defender, he may
Mm.
still be sent off because I think if, for example, if you handball it on the line to stop a goal, you still get sent off
Yeah.
because you basically you're not trying to get the ball legally, you're trying to stop a goal. I think if you just pull someone back in the box without going for the ball, I think it would still be a red, but it would depend on the circumstances, I think. But I mean,
I think with the
either side of that, I'll go on.
So I was going to say, I think it depends on the referee's interpretation of the law as well, doesn't it? Because that's what it's all down to at the end of the day, anyway. But I think the way that he did tug him back, he was coming across him, wasn't he? He got in behind and he was coming across him, and he was never going to get there. I do think Harvey Cartwright was going to get there before him. I don't think there was any need to do it, but it's one of those spur of the moment things, and I think he's just done it without thinking. I think it's just a reaction. And lads, has the lad made the most of it? Maybe. He's a big lad though, so he might not have, but you're giving the referee a decision to make, aren't you? And if you're last man and somebody's going down when they're through on goal, he's going to give it, isn't he? He's going to give a free kick penalty and he's going to send you off.
Well, absolutely. And to be fair to Maxim Corgan, he's been excellent so far for us this season. Came into the side at Altrincham, I think, in place of Tom Parks, and he was excellent that day. Made a good last-ditch challenge to deny one-on-one, and didn't get sent off for that one. But he's been excellent since. And to be fair, it's just one of those, as you say, it may well have been an instinctive thing that he's done, and I'm sure we'll learn from that. Do we know if it's a one-game ban? I thought it was a one-game ban because I thought it was just a professional foul. I didn't think it was like you get violent conduct, 3 game ban, etc. I didn't.
Yeah,
I think it's only a one
it was
match.
a
I can't
straight
remember.
red, wasn't it?
It
So
was a straight red, but I don't think all straight
I don't
reds are
think
3
it's
games.
three. I think it's one. So I think he's back for Forest Green, which would be great. Although saying that, I thought Parks has been tremendous last two.
Yeah, I think to be fair, Parks had a bit of a off day at Southend, but certainly when he came on against Boreham Wood, he
Mm.
slotted in very well and
He
obviously
played well
assisted
last
the
night.
defence. And he did play well last night. I don't think he made anything. I don't think he did anything in particular wrong. I think, like I say, that long throw. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the long throw. The long
Mm.
throw is something that we've not really utilised ourselves as such in the last however many years. It's something that we've seen other teams, particularly in this division, use themselves to gain an advantage, if you like. I mean, is it something you think we could utilise more in the division? Do you think there's anyone in particular that might be suited to that?
Well, I thought the lad, I think he signed for South, I think he signed for Solihull, the lad Brad Nicholson. I think he was playing for Boston last year. I remember he had an absolute cannon on him from a throw-in.
Hmm.
And I thought, left back, if we're getting rid of Fergie, get him in. Long throw, a pelter of a long throw is as good as a set piece. So why not try to gain an advantage from it? And certainly from what I've seen of Alex Reid so far, he can win a header and he can hold the ball up. So, and he generally, I mean, I'd love to see his percentages for aerial duels won because I bet it's 70-30 in his favour. So I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't use it. On a separate note, I think our set pieces have been not great the last few games. We've certainly overhit, shall we say, a number of corners and free kicks in good positions. I know Daly's been on them the last couple of games, and Brad Walker seemed to be on literally every set piece last night, but it didn't seem to be any better. So I think that's something that we need to work on as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of the season, we looked okay from set pieces. I mean, the
Mm.
corner at Altrincham was an
Yeah.
excellent delivery, and obviously McNally got his head on it and scored. And we've proven that we've got good crosses of a ball. You look
Mm.
at the likes of Topolai for that cross against Woking, for example. He put it on a sixpence, so there are people capable of picking players out.
Yeah.
I think it might just be a matter of, set piece focus next week, maybe when they've got a spare week instead of having to travel
Yeah.
midweek games.
I think so. I'm really quite pleased with how we've got the ball wide and we're putting crosses in. I'm really enjoying that. It just seems to be the set pieces that some corners that we're not capitalizing on. I know when Daly came in the last three games, I mean, he's standing at the back stick, but he's standing at the back stick on Greyfields. So, it would be, it would be good if he could, just take a little bit off because we've got people in there who are more than capable of winning a header. Um, I mean, Coogan can win a header. He's a big lad. McNally can. I mean, I think McNally's tremendous. I think he's been one of the absolute signings of the season so far. It'd be great if he could take a throw in, like, but never mind. Um,
Yeah.
but he can win a header and he gets us forwards. So I think we should be working on some set pieces in training. Where we're going to put it. Let's take a little bit off, get on somebody's head running in, and let's get some goals from set pieces.
It would certainly provide a different option for us going forward, especially in games last night where we had a couple of chances to score. We didn't
Mm.
quite get them over the line. You think of Alex Reid's chance at the beginning of the second half when it was still 1-0. It
Yeah.
was a good save. I mean, I think it was straight at the keeper, to be fair, and he probably should get something behind it. But anywhere other than there, it's 2-0. The game's not done, but it's a lot further out of Boston's reach than at 1-0. And I think corners, free kicks, throw-ins, anything that we can use to provide a bit of extra, it's not the worst idea in the world, particularly corners, because previous seasons we've not been that threatening from corners. I think it's fair to say. And at the
Yeah.
start of this season, it looked as though that was changing. It looked as though, as I've said, they won at Altrincham with McNally scoring. It was a great conventional corner. It was just a delivery in, defender gets his head to it, scores. It's,
Mhm.
textbook, as it were. But as you say, in the
Yeah.
last couple of games, it hasn't really been there as such. But one player in the last couple of games that I think a lot of people will say he's proved to be a good part of the squad is Luke Charman, who last season didn't really step up to what we expected. There was the game against Solihull with 3 assists, but other than that, his impact was few and far between. But he came off the bench against Southend and did very well. He's performed to a decent level in the last 2 games, and that goal last night was very well taken.
Yeah, it was. I thought when he came off the bench against Boreham Wood for Danny Johnson, I thought he did more in 10 minutes than Danny Johnson had in the whole game. And I thought he gave us something extra. He was willing to run. The two very different players. I'd like to point that out. But he gave us he was full of running and energy, and he got us up the pitch, and he started to create some opportunities, which I thought was great. And I even turned to my dad 5 minutes after he came on, and I went, "He's putting in a case for starting Wednesday night here." And to be honest, I probably would. Um, but I think last season he got injured, didn't he, fairly early on? And he was. I don't think he had a full pre-season behind him, and he didn't look fit. But I think he came in. There was about 8 or 10 games last season that he came in, and I thought he's looking sharp and he's looking good. And I'm quite impressed with the last 2 games that he's played. Cracker of a goal last night. He's turned the defender inside out 6 times and then slotted it in the top corner with his wrong foot. So you can't really ask for much more from the lad than that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we were discussing before we started recording about what he's been doing. It feels to me, particularly in that second half where he was attacking down the left-hand side, so near the Millhouse, which is where I sit, and he does tend to overcomplicate things quite a lot. As you mentioned there, he turned the defender however many times inside and out in the lead up to his goal, but
Mhm.
that is like a 1 in 100 where you're going to be able to keep the ball for that long in this division. You set upon very quickly, and if you're one on one with a defender, you can't really afford to waste that opportunity because
No.
you'll get someone from further forward coming back to double up. You'll get someone coming over from midfield to double up, and eventually you'll be crowded out, as we saw a few times last night, where it ended up being like a 3-on-1 situation, and eventually he just loses the ball because the numbers game. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, go on.
it's sorry, mate.
All right.
It gets to a point where you're beating someone and you've got them on toast. He had the right back on toast last night, and but at that point it's like they're cotton onto it, and then when you try to beat him again, and then you try to beat him again and again and again, it's like you say they're just going to double up on you and stop the cross. So it's being that little bit cute and trying to figure out something different. Can we get someone overlapping? Can we get somebody underlapping? Somebody just midfield pushing on a little bit just to give him another option instead of having to try and beat him and get to the byline? Can you put it inside him? Can we have a dig from 20 yards?
Yeah, I mean, I think last night proved as well. I can only assume it was rotation in the case of Basat Topalai, who was on the bench last night, came on
Hmm.
towards the end, but he is the number one on that side. And I think it's shown you how much we can rely on that because before yesterday night, he was excellent. He's been outstanding all season. He's been up there with Reece McNally in terms of his impact on the side. And I think last night coming out, I think Cameron John did a serviceable job there, but I think he's better in the back three rather than as a left winger or a left wing back, I should say. And I think Topolai bombing down that left hand side on the outside or on the inside of Charman or whoever's playing out on the left, I think that could well be the better way of going about it for the rest of the season.
It could be. What I will say, I wasn't very impressed with Topla when he came on last night. I thought he looked a
Mm.
little bit off the pace. Um, is that because he came on after 75, 80 minutes maybe?
If he'd have
But
scored that goal in the 96th minute, I think we'd have forgotten all about it
I,
though.
I wouldn't have been complaining. I certainly wouldn't have said anything about it. But yeah, I think I have been impressed with him. I think he plays quite well. It's it's that thing, isn't it? It's the issue we had with Luke Molineux under Challoner, and like some people are just they are good players and they are able and willing to do things, but they're just victims of the system. I don't really want Charman playing left wing back,
Yeah.
over back five, because yeah, he's going to get forward and he's going to do bits and pieces. He's not going to defend though, is he? And then that leaves us open at the back. But I thought last night with us playing a four, I thought it worked quite well. Brad Walker seemed to be dropping into the centre just to form a five when they were on the break, which seemed to work. But um, but yeah, I think top Lions, Cameron John on that left hand side is the best thing, and then I'm quite happy with Jameer Francis on the right as well, or even in the middle of a three. To be honest, I probably prefer him in the middle of a three. In midfield, just because I thought last night with Brad Walker in the middle, I thought we were very slow. It was almost pedestrian at points, and that's fair enough. That's Brad Walker's game at the end of the day. He is one of those players who likes to get it down. He likes to look sideways. He'll go backwards and sideways, and he'll slow the game down. But it didn't need that last night. It needed us. It needed pace, and we needed to attack and run at them. We didn't need to get the ball into him to slow it down. Um, but uh, but yeah, it was one of those. I think we are best suited as a back five, three, or 3-5-2. It seems to work quite well. Certainly, Reed needs somebody up top with him. Um, but yeah, top line left wing back, sorry, is probably our best shout in my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah, I think I agree. You look at the back five formation just in English football in general, and wing back is one of those positions where you need a specialist in that area who's able to get up and get back, in decent time. And Topolai and Ben, Topolai and Francis, whoever that might be, John
Mm,
and Francis, whoever that might be, you need people who are suited to that position. You can't just be shoehorning wingers in there, for example,
no.
if they're not suited to it. I mean, the best example of that in English football at the minute is Manchester United. If you look at what they're doing with wingers who's trying to play the likes of Amad Diallo and Brian
Mm,
Mbeumo as a right wing back, it doesn't work.
no.
Not wing backs. You need people uh, who are capable of getting up and down the wing, and they need the stamina to do it. And with attacking players, if you're trying to shoehorn wingers into there, their natural instinct is to go forward and they're not going to move back into position.
Yeah, you're
So,
asking people to do things unnaturally.
yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't work, and it leaves you exposed.
yeah, it's like asking Alex Reid to play defensive midfielder. Like, it's not going to happen. The sooner the better. You're talking
Mm,
about players who were victims of the system as well. I mentioned this last week with regards to Danny Johnson. You mentioned him earlier on in terms of Luke Charman's cameo being more
mm,
than Johnson did in 80. I think Danny Johnson, being the penalty box striker that he is, the 6 yard box
mm.
striker even that he is, I think our tendency to sort of we don't create that many chances generally. Last night was a little bit of an exception because we did a little bit more going forward with the back four, but generally we've been very clinical with our chances and we've not created too much in terms of getting things into the 6 yard box. And
Mm.
there's an argument there for Danny Johnson potentially being a victim of the system, as you may say.
Maybe, yeah. He's it's a difficult one for him because he just needs a goal.
Yeah.
He needs one, just going off his backside, off his knee, off just smash him in the face and go in, just anything. Just what I think once he's up and he's running, he'll be fine. I thought pre-season, I said Reed and Johnson between them will get 30 goals this season. Um, but I think he might be struggling from a slight issue of confidence. You know, we're what 8 games in, hasn't scored yet. He'll be thinking, he'll be in his mind. He'll be trying to think, what am I doing? Can I do something differently? Is it superstitions? Do I put my left boot on first instead of my right? But he just needs a goal. I would probably say he is. It's a tough one because he started 5 of 7, and I wouldn't say he's played particularly poorly. I think he's had a few goal involvements this season already. It's just I think he just needs a goal, and I think that's all it is. I don't think he's particularly a victim of the system. Um, I think he plays up front quite well with Reed because Reed holds the ball up quite well, and I don't particularly want Danny Johnson dropping deep. I want him bombing on. But he's just an older version of Luke Charman, really, isn't he? It's like Charman will bomb on because he's got the pace to do it, and I think because Johnson's lost half a pace because of his age, half a yard of pace, sorry, because of his age. I think that's why he's dropped off slightly. But I like him. I think he'll score. I think he'll get double figures this year. He just needs one to go in.
Yeah, that's true. I think he did hit one quite late on last night when he came off the bench from just outside the box,
Mm.
one that was deflected onto the bar,
Yeah,
and hit it really well.
yeah, he did.
Even before the deflection, he hit it really sweetly, and unfortunately, deflected onto the bar. So that shows you he's still got the
Yeah,
power. So he
absolutely.
just he just needs the chances. Because to be fair to him, I can't really recall that many shots that he's had.
He gets involved though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he drags people away and he creates chances. But yeah, he didn't half strike it last night, and that took a deflection, hit the crossbar. But That's it, isn't it? When you're not scoring
Yeah.
anything,
You
I
think
mean,
you've just got a little bit of fortune and then it hits the bar
it
instead.
hits the bar.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, he does strike me maybe as this season's Joe Gray in a way
Maybe.
because he puts the effort in and he stretches teams and he sort of creates things for other people, but doesn't really get much in the way of service himself, perhaps.
Yeah, that's certainly a good analogy to make. I think he probably has a similar issue to Joe Gray in that regard. Yeah, absolutely. But it's like I say, I think he just needs a goal. He just needs a goal. Give him
Yeah,
half a chance. Give him half a chance. He'll score. He'll break it. He'll break his hoodoo, and he'll be up and running. And I've no doubt between Reed and Johnson, they'll score 30 between them this year.
yeah, I think there's certainly an
Hmm.
argument as well for them to get some help in for those two
Hmm.
as well. I think we do need some more options off the bench. If you look at the bench that we had yesterday, obviously Topolai was on there, having been rotated out of the squad for now. Adam Smith, reserve goalkeeper. Nicky Featherstone came off the bench. Sam Falarin came off the bench. The less said about his cameo, the better, by the way. There's not too much in the way of attacking substitutions there.
No.
I think, we need, whether it be wingers, whether it be a striker, whether it be someone just to come off the bench and provide that little bit of thrust to go on and win a game if we need to, like we needed to last night.
There's probably a case for, is it worth recalling Josh Donaldson?
Yeah, I was surprised that he went out on loan straight away, to be fair.
I think that's purely an age thing. I think Grayson's probably looking at him for next season. But I mean, I think he scored 3 or 4 already this season, hasn't he? For Dunstan.
He got off to a very good start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there might be a case of, I mean, we're not affected by the transfer window, are we?
No,
In
no.
any sense whatsoever. So there's plenty of people out there on a free, certainly. I mean, I don't know if have you seen the recent PFA squad list?
They drew 1-1 at
Some
Manchester United
decent
under
names on there.
21s, didn't they? Connor
Yeah,
Wickham scored from the
Connor
halfway
Wickham's
line,
on
didn't
there.
he? Again,
Yeah, he did. I
making a habit of
so
that now.
yeah. I mean, get him in, pay as you play. Sure, he'll take it.
I bet he would. I mean, I don't think it would necessarily be a bad thing, but certainly in the last sort of 10 to 15 years, we've been accused maybe of bringing in strikers who are in their mid 30s, who maybe is looking for one final club,
Hmm.
etc. I think Gary Medine was a good exception to that rule because he came in
Yeah.
and he did a job for us last season. I don't think he was, yeah, I don't think he set the world on fire, but he certainly, he wasn't a bad signing at all, and he did score some goals
Hmm.
there. I think if we get another one like him, if Wickham is that man, then great, that'd be fantastic. But I think we do just need that little bit extra off the bench because as the season goes on, you look at the likes of York, who have about 200,000 players,
Hmm.
can bring anyone off the bench at any one time. Like the squad depth is going to be an issue come sort of Christmas time.
Yeah, and if if Reed drops off or has a bit of a barren spell, then we are in trouble. Because I mean, there's no we are spreading the goals about a wee bit, but we're not going to be able to rely on Cameron John and Reece McNally scoring 10, 15 goals, are we?
Hmm.
It's
It'd be great if they did.
the next person you're looking at's what, Francis?
Yeah, Francis, potentially Jamie Miley's proven he can score before, but he's not exactly
Yeah.
prolific. If Nathan Sharon can ping a few more in from 25 yards, that'd be nice. I don't think he will, but it'd be good.
Oh, it'd
But
be
yeah,
good. I wouldn't turn them down.
well, certainly not. But yeah, moving on to our next game against Forest Green, top of the league, unbeaten still. Robbie Savage has proven that he's the non-league messiah when it comes to managers. It seems. I think a lot of us, me certainly included, I didn't think personally be stepping up this quickly. I thought obviously when he took the job, I didn't think he'd make this much of an impact this quickly.
Hmm.
But as football has often taught us, if you have the players, if you have a good squad of players and they are quality for the division that you're in, you're not going to have too many problems.
I was surprised he left Macclesfield because he had I mean he brought him in as director of football initially, didn't he? And then I think he bought in and became a director. He might have been director at the same time.
I
But
think he was, yeah. He
yeah,
certainly co-owned the club.
yeah,
I think he was made a non-executive director or a director.
yeah, something like that. But I mean I wasn't surprised when he got the managerial job, put it that way. I think that was just his in. But I was surprised when he left because why would you leave a good thing? You've just won the league, promoted at a canter, and you're leaving for a team that's, let's be honest, not great. Who don't have a very good league record. They're usually just in or around the bottom of the league. Um, and an owner who seems to like to wield the axe as much as Raj. So
Oh,
it's
yeah. I mean, we've seen it before where I think it was a bit unfair on Steve Cottrell,
yeah,
manager last season. I think, yeah, it was a bit unfair on him. I mean,
mm,
he finished third last season, didn't he, Steve
yeah,
Cottrell with Forest Green? And if you look at the two teams that finished above them, they were on 96 points and over 100 points. So it's not as if he had a terrible season. He just came
no,
up against two teams that were posting freakish numbers.
mm,
And at the end of the day, the playoffs, as we've learned many times before, are just a lottery from that point
yeah,
onwards. You get what you get. And, it's a shame for him, but Robbie Savage, as I've said, he's come in and, when you sign in players like Nick
Nick
Houghton,
Horton, Nick
Nick
Horton,
Horton. Yeah.
yeah,
I could see his name in my head, but I just couldn't.
mm,
When you see something in your head and you just think, "Oh, wait, what am I saying?" And that's like
mm,
it's bizarre that. But yeah, I mean, we were touting his services for a long time in terms of the fans. We were all saying, he's there. He's just been relegated. He got however many goals he got last season. It was certainly well over 20.
mm.
But at the end of the day, it would appear that Forest Green have got there and tempted him away from Filed. Which is strange, really, because I thought he was an EFL standard player.
He had a couple of years at Salford, didn't he? He's one of those players who just seems like. Do you remember Danny Rowe?
Yes.
He used to score absolutely bags of goals every season, didn't he? And he never seemed to get a move. And then he got a random move to Bradford or something, wasn't it? Or was it? Oh, sorry, he went to Oldham, and then I think he went to Bradford. And it was just like it just kind of killed him a little bit. So I think sometimes it's you're better where you are sometimes. Um, but yeah, Nick Horton, I'd have loved him in this side. I think if we'd signed him, we wouldn't have signed Matty Daly certainly because he would have played in that he would have played high up in a three in midfield, and he, he'll score 15 goals this year. He always does. He's always in double figures, isn't he? I can't remember the last time he wasn't in double figures, and that's saying a lot when you're playing for an AFC file team and we're fighting for their lives every season.
Absolutely. I mean, even though they did go down, the fact that he still posted as many goals as he did
Mm,
proves how good of a player that he is.
mm,
And at the end of the day, he probably did deserve another crack at the EFL.
yeah.
So it's a testament to Forest Green that they've managed to get him because,
Mm,
it's the same as we were saying in the summer about getting the likes of Jay Ben from a team two teams above us.
mhm,
Sorry, two leagues above us, I should say. If you're getting players to drop or you're getting players to come to a level where you wouldn't expect them to be, that can only be seen as a good thing. And as you say, you'd expect him to do well this season in that side. You'd expect him to do well in any side this season.
yeah,
For
you would.
I think even with the likes of York, when I say that I would expect Nick Horton to start for any team in the division, I would include the likes of York and Carlisle
Mm.
and teams like that. So,
Like he gets
um,
into every team in this division,
absolutely, yeah.
and,
And
and
that,
he's
that's why
not.
I
Yeah.
say, yeah, and that's why I say that, I'm surprised that he has stayed in this division. I
Mm.
think when you've got an attachment to a team like he clearly has with Files because he's been there for quite a while, I would have expected him to move to the EFL or stay at Fylde potentially.
Mm.
But, like I say, Forest Green, well done to them for getting him, and he'll do well for them. With regards to the specific game on Saturday, both teams still unbeaten.
Yeah.
Forest Green isn't exactly a club that we've had a lot of success against, particularly at their ground.
Mhm.
Can you see us getting anything from the game?
Yeah, I can. I think we're really hard to break down, to be honest. And that just goes to show by the fact that we've conceded two in 7 games. We're we're defensively solid. We don't give teams many chances. I mean, the first goal we conceded this year was an own goal. So we've only had one real goal scored against us from open play from an opposition player. So we're defensively we're sound. I've got absolutely no issues with the back three of Coogan, McNally, and John or for that fact Parks. Um, it's defensively sound. Can we defend for 90 minutes? I don't particularly want us to do that, but if we came away from there for nil-nil draw, I'd be quite happy. I certainly wouldn't turn my nose about it. Would I like a sneaky 1-0 win? Yeah. Would I like a 7-6? Yeah, I'd like a 7-6 as well. As long as we came with 3 points, I wouldn't really care. But um, I fancy us for a point. Um, they do score goals, but they concede them as well. So they're a bit frail at the back. They're there to be exploited. I think he'll probably stick with Charman and Reed up front, and that might scare them a little bit. We'll certainly have a chance. And if we can take it, why not? It's there to be had.
Absolutely, as you say, they are very good at scoring goals, but
Mhm.
they're not as good as us at defending.
Yeah.
Certainly, I mean, if you discount Park's own goal at Southend, we've only conceded one goal against an opposition player
Yeah.
season, which obviously came last night. So, I mean, we were never going to co keep clean sheets in every game this season. So the odd goal here or there shouldn't really alarm anyone in that sense.
No.
I think if we bounce back on Saturday and keep the clean sheet there, then, order is restored and all's right with the universe.
Mhm.
But I mean, did it feel weird yesterday conceding a goal? Because I sat there thinking like, oh, it's in.
It
Like
didn't
it's bizarre.
it didn't feel weird per se, but it was like it was frustrating because they had one chance in that game and they scored it.
Pretty much.
And like one real chance and they scored it, which was the frustrating thing because we switched off for literally 10 seconds and they punished us for us and all fair play to them. But yeah, it was just more frustration that we'd lacked concentration for like what 10, 15 seconds. That really annoyed me, to be honest. But um but no, it didn't feel weird. We're gonna at the end of the day, you're not going to go through a season and not concede any, are you? You're going to concede goals. You're going to get beat. You're going to drop points. It's all about how you react to it and how your mental state is in order to react to losses and not getting clean sheets and all this. It's when it becomes it's when it becomes a given that you're winning games and then you're not conceding, that's when it becomes a problem because then complacency sets in and we can't afford to be complacent. If we start to become complacent, then we'll drop off like we did last season. Um, and to be honest, these players who were at our level are at our level for a reason, and that reason is they're not consistent enough. So it's all about big characters and how we cope with dropping points and conceding goals. Um, I I don't know. Did you see Francis's reaction to John after the goal yesterday? You obviously
Yes,
I
he
haven't watched
wasn't
the.
very happy.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't very happy for about 20 minutes, I think. Um,
Still chuntering down the tunnel at full time. Yeah.
honestly, I love that.
I respect the
Um,
passion.
yeah, it's you've if somebody's not doing if somebody hasn't done the job. I mean, I think Cameron John's been exceptional since he's
He
come in.
has. He's been very, very good.
Yeah. I haven't seen the replay of the match yet, so I'm not entirely certain what he's having a go at Cameron John about. But I would presume that he hasn't tracked his man at some point and he's let his man slip, or he's been caught ball watching a little bit. Um, but I like it. If you're not doing your job, then you should be held to account for it by your teammates. And I like the passion of it. Was it a little bit over the top? Maybe, but it's a passionate game. He's obviously a really passionate guy, and he wants to win, and that's what we want at this club. We want winners. Um, so I'm quite happy with it. I think that's a good dressing room atmosphere as well because we've been. I know last season, pre-season last season, we're too nice, and then we went the opposite way and went we're a bit too violent here with what was it, 3 red cards in 4 games.
I've
Um,
lost count, to be fair.
yeah, it was a bit mad, wasn't it? But I like the passion of it. I like that he cares about the that we need a winning mentality instilled in this team and that people should be held to account for not doing what they should be doing. That being said, I think Cameron John has made one mistake in 7 games and give him a break. It happens. It's going to happen. It's how he reacts to it. And I thought he played really well afterwards as well. He just obviously lacked a bit of concentration for 10, 15 seconds. But that's what happens in football.
Absolutely, and I'm sure we'll have the wherewithal to bounce back from it on Saturday. We've seen, as you say, his form so far this season, and there's nothing to suggest that won't be the case. Looking at the National League table, Forest Green scored 14, as you mentioned before, very good in front of goal. There's only one team in the league that have scored more than them. Do you know who that is?
Rochdale?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Aldershot.
Hmm. Who's no? Who is it?
Aldershot.
Aldershot.
Aldershot. Aldershot have scored 20 goals in 7 games. They are 12th because they've conceded 15. And we play Aldershot away in 2 weeks, and I'm going there, I believe, for the radio for the Reds. So that's going to be a really good game to watch. That it'll be very interesting though, because obviously we've conceded the least amount of goals in the division of anyone.
Yeah.
So therefore, 20 goals plays 2 goals conceded.
Well, hopefully we'll win 4-0 then.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's good. It's not as if we're not scoring any goals at all. We've
No.
scored 9. We're not exactly top of the goal scoring charts, but we're not near the bottom either. So
No,
we're
what's our
okay.
average? Our average
Yeah.
is 1.2, so we're still scoring a goal. We're still scoring just over a goal a game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, like I say, 2 goals conceded is ridiculous. York have conceded 3, but that's because they've only played 4 games. After that, you are looking at Brackley and Scunthorpe. No, Forest Green and Rochdale both conceded 4. Rochdale conceded 5. You guessed Rochdale. They've scored 13. Carlisle have scored 14, same as Forest Green. So Rochdale are third in that list, if you like.
I always thought they'd scored a bit more. So they always seem to be like 2-3-0 up every time I've looked at the results.
They won 1-0 last night and they beat
Yeah.
Brackley, I believe. Brackley's an interesting one, actually, because they've scored 6 and conceded 6 in 6 games. So they're quite sort of balanced, if you
We
like.
love a symmetry, don't we?
Yeah, 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2.
Love
Scored
that.
6, conceded 6, goal difference of 0. It's just brilliant.
Oh, love it.
And do you know what? They're 13th as well, so they're literally like, as middle can be in the
Yeah.
league. Just fantastic stuff. That will be an interesting game. To be fair on that subject, we do play them next week as well. It's the first time we've seen Brackley since the Darren Sarll sacking. So I assume they'll get a good welcome back.
I doubt it'll be as good as that reaction Ben Clark got away at Rochdale. Away at Rotherham, sorry.
Well, to be fair, you know, now against them, they were better than us over the 2 ties.
Yeah.
It was a miracle that we got it to the replay in the first place because they outplayed us at home as well.
Yeah, they absolutely battered us. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they had a National League squad that year because, they won the title. So, it'll
They're
be nice to see
consistent,
them.
aren't they? They've had a few lads there who've been there for years.
Yeah, it's a good football club to be fair. They've done well to get up and they're now reaping the rewards of, they're beating teams. I mean, they beat Rochdale a couple of
Mm.
weeks ago. So they've got plenty. I think that was a weird one though, because that was the Saturday, the bank holiday weekend, I believe, and I think Rochdale made 11 changes
Oh,
because they
did
had
they?
you had the 2 games in 2 days or 2 games in
Mm.
3 days, and I think they rotated their entire squad for the Monday game. So
Oh, was that the
a lot of
game
criticism.
was that the game that dropped Manny?
Well, they dropped everyone. Everyone was
Yeah,
it
I
was 11
remember I
changes.
remember looking at
Mancini
it.
got the assist.
Yeah, I remember looking at it and thinking, oh, this is on the bench.
Yeah. But to be fair, like I say, even a win against that team is still a good victory. So
Yeah.
in fairness to them, it's a good victory, and I'm sure they'll crack on from there. Do you see them being in any danger this season? Before the season, I, I don't want to put words into my own mouth, but I'm pretty sure I said they'd probably be fine. I hope I did. Not trying to retrospectively change my prediction. I'm sure I said they were fine. I know I said that Scunthorpe would be fine.
Yeah, Scunthorpe will be
Because
fine.
and to be fair, that's looking pretty good so far. They got 11 points from 5 games. I think I'm sure I said Brackley would be all right. I think I said Boreham would probably do okay because they've got
Mm.
knowledge of the division. I think I said True Road struggle if they didn't take advantage of their own games, which looks bang on so far because I mean, to be fair, we were talking about Aldershot being high scoring, 3-3 on, sorry, 2-2 on Wednesday, but Aldershot went down to 9 men in that game
Yeah,
and still rescued a point in the 97th minute. That
shows you
shows
the
you
character.
Aldershot, yeah, and shows you what they're about.
Yeah,
At both ends.
absolutely. But then again, we went down to 10 men against Boreham Woods, and I don't think we looked like we were short.
Well, we did the exact opposite. We just ground out a 0-0.
Yeah. But we didn't look any worse off. Like they never dominated, did they? It was still even. So I mean, I was never worried really. But I think we've got decent character in our side. But yeah, I think Brackley will be fine. I tell you what I am worried about. I'm worried about Gateshead.
Gateshead's a weird one because at the start of
Yeah.
the season we all thought they'd probably struggle. I didn't think they'd go down, but I thought they'd struggle at the wrong end.
Mhm.
Then they had a couple of decent results, which made you think, well, they're okay. They might do okay. I mean, they're still ninth. They've got 10 points from seven. But when they get beat, they get hammered.
Yeah,
That's the
that's the
problem
thing.
they've got. I mean,
And
they conceded 16 goals. That's more than Aldershot. That's the most in the division.
so it's like if you're conceding goals like that, it's worth a point away, really, isn't it? It's I'm not putting a bet on them, put it that way. Like
No,
they're not on me acca every week.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they're a strange one. I'm unsure. They're away to Woking on Saturday, so that's a good opportunity for them to get back on track if they can
Woking
wangle
won
that one.
3-0 the weekend, didn't they? Am I
Um,
making that up?
I don't know. Truro won 3-0 at the weekend.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2-0 they beat Morecambe 2-0 away at the weekend.
To be fair, after that first game against Altrincham, everyone's been beating Morecambe. I think that first game was very much a community thing where they got together and their en- their enthusiasm for having a club got them over the line. But I think
Hmm.
they've been sort of bumped back down to reality now in terms of other teams have had pre-seasons and they're far more prepared
Yeah.
going into the season. But you never know. We'll see how they go during the season there as well. But yeah, so fingers crossed for the northeast teams. Fingers crossed for the northern teams. One of them can come up with us this season when we win the title. And no, don't laugh. It could happen. And
I'm laughing at who I think are going to come up with us.
well, I'll take Rochdale. We'll have Manny D in League Two just for what he did for us last season and the season before. I wouldn't mind any of the northern ones. Just I don't
Yeah.
want it to be like sort of Forest Green or Sutton or someone like that. Like it'd be just our luck if we exit the most northern league we've ever been in
Hmm.
and bring one of the southern teams up with us would be travesty.
What, Truro?
Yeah, Truro. Imagine
On a
Truro bounce back
27 game
down.
unbeaten streak.
Hey, we did it. We did it in
Yeah,
2006-7, didn't we?
we did.
It could easily happen. I don't think they've got Richie Humphries spearheading the charge though. So I mean they have an ex-Pulse manager in the dugout though. Uh,
He's
yeah.
going to hide in nothing down there, by the way. It's
Well,
like,
well, to be fair, I mean he's took them up, hasn't he, into this division.
yeah,
So I think anything other than staying up, I think is a bonus, really. And I
yeah.
don't even think they expect to do that. I think it is very much a case of
It's
we'll give it a go and see what happens.
it's how do you even attract players there?
Yeah,
Because every trip's like a 6 hour round trip, isn't it?
at
Like,
least.
yeah, like your nearest one's like a 6 hour round trip.
I think
I
no, to be
mean,
fair, I think the nearest one being Yeovil, I think that's
it's
what
still a while
hours.
though, isn't it?
It's still a decent trek, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, bloody playing Gateshead away. It's Carlisle away and us away. It's everywhere's a slog for them, isn't it? And
Yeah, I
it's
mean, even the likes of York away and
yeah,
Halifax and like that neck of the woods is still what 5 or 6 hours
yeah. So it's
away.
it's how do you even attract players there? It's like all you're really looking at is can I get somebody from Plymouth or Torquay?
Yeah. Well,
It's
to be fair, they can probably nick people from Torquay now. They're in the division above.
probably yeah, but it's like I mean, even if you try to get somebody like on loan from Bristol City, you're probably going to struggle because that's like a 6 hour round trip. It's just really difficult for him, isn't it? But nature of the beast, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. I think as long as they can keep Tyler Harvey's their main source of goals.
Yeah.
He was injured for the first few games of the season, I believe. But now that he's back, if they can keep him fit and take advantage of their home games, try and
Mm.
build up a bit of momentum, you never know what could happen. But I do, as I've said previously, if they don't take advantage of their home games, they will be gone very,
Oh yeah.
very quickly because they'll be cut adrift, unfortunately for them. A bit like
No, no.
Ebbsfleet were last season, where we all knew that Ebbsfleet were going down, you know, by about February, March time, so they would just cut adrift to everyone else.
Mm.
So we'll see how they get on. You going on Saturday?
I'm not on Saturday. I'm
Ooh.
out and about Saturday, but I'll be listening.
Saving up your pennies for Aldershot, given what I've just said
That's what I'm thinking about.
about 15 goals and
I fancy an 11-10.
11-10. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say that. Well, to be fair, I think I'd rather a 1-0 victory for us than an 11-10 victory. Either way, it just means keeping our defensive solidity going.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see about Saturday first of all. Let's not look too far ahead. Thank you very much, Daniel,
No,
for
no worries.
the company tonight. This has been recorded on Thursday night, so if anything happens tomorrow before this releases, then we apologise, but we're not that good. We can't predict the future. And for the final words as well, welcome back to the lads at HUFC Chat, having resurrected this week. I believe the announcement was on Tuesday. And it's nice to see, as many people as possible with voices on Hartlepool United. Opinions welcome, fans are always welcome, ex-players, managers, everyone should be welcome. Welcome back, lads. You've been missed as the originals, because let's face it, we probably wouldn't be doing this without you lot coming first, because you proved that there was a market for this sort of stuff. So thanks for that, guys. And hopefully we'll see everyone again next week. Cheers, Daniel.
No worries. Cheers, Matt.